Have you ever come out of a relationship and thought, I am never doing that again? For quite a while, a couple of years, that was my reality. And looking back at it, that no wasn't bitterness or being closed off forever. It was actually the most romantic thing I could have done for myself. Now, I want to talk about, okay, so when I first got out, and quite for some time, I literally had absolutely no interest in dating, in sex, in relationships. Like the desire wasn't there. It was just literally gone. And I I don't think I wondered if anything was wrong with me. I was just curious about it. And I just noticed its absence. And I thought to myself, like, it is, I was curious about it because I had that desire before. And for it to be vacated from my body, I was just like, but I let myself be in that place, And when I look back on it, I think I'm just so grateful I gave myself that grace. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to, just be like, I am where I am. And I'm literally not trying to fuck around with nobody. And hmm, I, honestly, part of the reason for it is that leaving that relate, I was just in so much shock at I was in awe about the depth of violence that I have survived. I was in so much shock when I really was safe enough to step back and reflect on what I survived through and what I experienced. It was so much violence that it literally turned me off. I thought that I just had no desire to be with anyone ever again and or to even date or entertain or anything. And I just, my life was pretty in shambles. So I had a lot of other shit to do to figure out. But there was just this solid time period where it was just nothing. I wanted nothing for that. And what's interesting is I know it made the people who love me kind of sad because they wanted they believed that I deserved happiness within the realm of a relationship. Like they believe I deserve love. And they also understood that, after surviving that traumatic experience, they understand why I wanted a distance. But I could just sense the sadness of the people in my life that I was in this place. And I was like, it is what it is. And when I step back and I reflect about it, I realize that, surviving, being existing in that two-person cult, surviving it took a lot for me that I honestly needed to give back to myself. And I realized that I could not even entertain the notion of sharing anything, my time, my energy, my space, my body, with nobody, with no other human being, until I had found a way to give those things back to myself. You know, for example, something that living in abuse and surviving abuse took from me was my time. It Being in an abusive relationship is really time consuming. It really is. It was also very expensive. It took a lot of my money. And when I got out, I just had to give myself back my time, give myself back my money, or find a way to bring it back into my life. And that's what I needed to focus on. And honestly, it felt so overwhelming, like the challenge that was ahead of me of like rebuilding myself and my life, that honestly, now that I think about it, it was kind of a gift that I was like so turned off from dating and relationships because I like the absence of that desire in that space allowed me and gave me permission and grace to focus on myself and to give back to myself. in ways that allowed me to like be present with it and enjoy the gift I was giving myself instead of feeling like a sense of loss or a sense of longing or desire or like missing out from like what I'm supposed to be getting to. It really was a gift now that I think about it, that I just had no interest in nobody's nothing. And, in the space of all of that, I really developed this really beautiful relationship with myself. Like, I discovered that I love being by myself. Like, I discovered I like I'm in constant conversation with myself. I think I'm really funny and I really get very focused in on things that matter to me. And I just, in the space of letting myself not want anyone, I found a desire for myself and I sort of became, I enjoyed it so much, and I realized now that it was safe to focus on me, that there was so much to do, and I could spend all my time on myself. And it was just such a gift. And I also realized it actually was a low-key safety guard because part of that would eventually make me ready to date again because now I created the space to have this relationship with myself, right? Now I notice when being around other people or being in certain environments or situations like take away from this pretty amazing baseline that I've been able to establish for me. Now and not only do I just notice it, I am unwilling to sacrifice it, which has found it has emboldened me to not give a fuck. And in fact, all the fucks I ever had to give are permanently out of stock because of this space. Because in this space of genuinely like feeling like turned off by dating and relationships, I I don't know, there's just this juiciness to focusing on me and being with myself that it just I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I felt safe within myself and liked the things that I was able to do because of the choice to focus on me. And I found myself unwilling to compromise that. And I think that is like the baseline foundation for safety and not only for safety but for having trust in myself and really owning my own sense of like my own personal power, right? Like I'm so grateful for this baseline because it makes it clearer and so much easier to trust my feelings because I know I know when I feel good and what I like, and I can notice when things around me or people don't make me feel good. And that is like the first step to like safety because, surviving the two-person cult, surviving abuse, part of the reason or part of what contributed to it progressing and becoming so bad is because that fundamental connection to myself was disconnected, right? Like it was distant. And there are a whole bunch of other episodes where I've talked about why that distance exists, but for the purpose of this, like I recognize that I didn't have that. And not only that, I realized creating this space to be intimate with myself, to like chill with me and like figure out what I like or remember what I like and dedicate my energy and resources to bringing that into my life. Like I realized in doing all of that that what you call it? I lost my train of thought. Mm, oh, I lost my train of thought, but this is what I will say. Finding that intimacy with myself, it just really made me, it was just what I needed. And in this whole journey, I've only ever been able to move forward while giving myself what I need in the moment. And sometimes that's been hard because I have a little tussle with myself. Like my inner world be beefing because there are parts of me that just were not happy with what was true about my present. Like it felt and feels frustrating that there are aspects and parameters of my life that are about the consequences of the abuse I survived and not agency, not like my conscious choice. And oh, I remembered the other train of thought. Okay, so backing it up a little, in realizing that, wow, I have this tremendous inner resource now of like having this internal baseline that that allows me to use my feelings as data to keep me safe and happy and joyful. It surprisingly allowed me to be even more compassionate with the version of me who stayed. It allowed me to love her and, forgive her and trust her for the choices that she made because now in this space of all the things that I enjoy about being with my damn self, I've realized like that version of me lacked this fundamental inner resource. And without this inner resource, without this baseline of like, I enjoy myself so much that I notice when other people take away from like my sense, my stasis. It's impossible or extraordinarily exceptionally difficult and challenging to have um safe, joy-filled experiences and relationships in life where you don't have that inner baseline. And I thought about the version of me that didn't have it and why she didn't have it. And I just wanted to put some love on little Sable. And I want you to do that for yourself. I want you to think about, if you're in a space where you're like, fuck dating and relationships, live in that space. Live in that space, boo. Honor it. And, take a step back and think about, wow, what did this, what did you find in this intimacy with yourself when no one else was watching, when it seemed like on the outside you're not making progress, which was another frustration about being here, but I just let myself be there. And in the space of letting myself be where I was, the wildest thing happened. Like my my body and my cycle literally synced to the moon. And I also noticed that I mean, there are a lot of other like physical differences, but like that was a big one. And it was big because I just felt a sense of ease because I stopped shitting myself into being in another place. And so, yeah, it's just such a wonderful gift that I wasn't expecting and I kind of surrendered to because life humbled me. But yeah, there is beauty in the no. And if you are in a place of no right now, honor it, boo. And I champion that for you. And because you know what? You deserve it. And not only that, if you are in the space of the great no right now, I have a question for you in the free companion guide. Check the link in the description to download it and start your own audit.